how can animals have traits that fit each of their habitats so well? Even animals with similar habitats, no matter how far apart, have similar traits. How is it that emus and ostriches are from two separate continents, yet their traits are comparable?
Dear Charles Darwin, greetings. I have a few theories of my own which I'm interested in sharing with you. But please, let me tell you a bit of my studies. I've seen many varieties of species in my travels, and I found that they actually vary in different regions. I took a great interest in the Amazon, and I collected a vast amount of species to take back to England for further study. However, a terrible disaster struck my ship, and I lost many collections and my notes. Later on, I traveled to the Malay archipelagos, and I must emphasize on how beautiful the islands were.
I've recorded them down in a recent manuscript which I've written. I heard that you would be interested in listening to my theory about how species evolve over time, and that somehow the environment is the key factor in determining how the best of each species survive. But I cannot fully explain it in a letter. So I'd like to ask you if you would like to discuss this sometime. I'm also now heading back to England soon, so please, write back to me if you would like to work with me. It's from Wallace. Alfred Russel Wallace? How could this be? His theory is almost like an exact copy of my own. I need to meet him and talk to him in person. Please, take a seat.
Oh, why, thank you. So, how are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Well, Darwin, my travels to South America and Asia, and what I observed about wildlife was fascinating.
Please, tell me more.
After all of my travels, I was amazed by how much diversity there was. And I observed that, especially in the Amazon forest, there were many different colorful animals in the Amazon forest which I've seen, one of which was very special to me. Do you know about the Ornithoptera croesus?
I'm afraid I do not.
Well, it's a type of butterfly, very vibrant, very special. And it intrigued me because it made me think that evolution of species can cause different species to occur over time.
That is absolutely amazing.
And that's not all. I found that species have such diversity because of their environment and its own need to survive.
That is fascinating. I mean, all my life I've been curious about the diversity in beetles and how there were so many types. And all this makes sense now. It's because they need diversity to survive. Well, what are your thoughts about the environment being selective on which species will survive and which won't?
I think it's just a matter of who has a better chance of survival, isn't it? The more a certain species has the ability to withstand its environment's conditions, it's obligated to have a higher chance of survival than other specimens.
Therefore, it happens naturally, as if it were natural selection.
Yes, evolution by natural selection.
Everything makes sense, Wallace. I have a good feeling about this theory. Yet there's still one thing missing.
Well, what is it?
If each species evolved to fit its particular region, how can the Earth change over time?
That is quite a good question, I'd say, but I think there is someone who can answer your questions. A Scottish man, Sir Charles Lyell.
We must send a letter to him if we're to finish this theory. Wallace, we must meet again, the three of us. Sir Charles Lyell and Alfred. Lyell, if you don't mind me abruptly asking about your theory on uniformitarianism, was it?
Yes. Well, I believe that the Earth changes over time, no doubt. But it's a matter how over time the Earth, the land of the shape, and its feature change. I have written all of my theories and ideas in a book which I call The Principle of Geography.
Yes, I must say, I've read some of your manuscripts during my voyage on the Beagle. And I must say, I'm a great fan of your work.
Well, thank you.
I remember in the Elements of Geography, you talked about fossils and special rocks. Do you think they may be evidence of some sort? Maybe to give us a glimpse of how the world has changed?
Well, I do believe that the Earth will be changing, especially the surface of the Earth has changed many times. However, the present is the key to the past. It must be a shift or a rise or even a fall of land where you were.
Yes, we were lifted about 8 feet above land. But do you think this could have something to do with diversity in species?
I suppose the different animal structures in the fossils and the structures of modern animals in comparison can be evidence.
Well, if there is rock evidence, then that can prove that change happens over time. Species are now the best version of themselves compared to before.
Yes, the Earth also is a key of evidence.
Darwin, I think you should write this theory down. A book. It would be controversial, but this might be the biggest outbreak in history.
You really think I should? Then I should get to it, shouldn't I?
Evolution is caused by natural selection. Natural selection, in turn, needs 3 things to happen: competition, variation, and adaptation. When there are too many of the same species in one environment, the individuals must compete for things such as food, water, and shelter. Then, the animals produce more offspring than the number that will survive, which causes genetic variation within the population. Consequently, there would likely be a large number of individuals with traits that are well suited to their environment. Those 3 factors are what cause natural selection. Another important factor in natural selection is the Earth changing over time. Uniformitarianism successfully claims that the Earth has not always been like this, nor will it stay like this forever. This piece of evidence seemingly contradicts the process of evolution by natural selection, though it does not. The amount of time that it takes for the Earth to change significantly is a very long time, leaving enough time for a species to adapt to a specific environment.
Oh, look! A letter! Congratulations, your book was one of the most outstanding and insanely popular book of the century. I must thank Wallace and Lyell.